Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is me, Jordan Young, back with another Certified Hood Classic. Today we are going to be going through some of the sneakers that were ruined by TikTok and Instagram. And so what do I mean by ruin? When social media gets a hold of a particular type of shoe, it runs up the popularity, which then drives up the price, which then irks the inner gatekeeper in me. Social media also has the power to feed back to brands what types of things are trending, encouraging them to completely saturate the market with certain styles and certain colorways. Now, I'm not saying that these sneakers coming up are bad. In fact, I still like all of these. But as we move through the list, I'm sure you guys will understand where I'm coming from. And if I miss any out, feel free to add your own submissions down below. Let's start things off with a very recent release. I want to start off with the Air Jordan 4 Bred Reimagines. This is a sneaker that was ruined for me by social media. I became absolutely sick and tired of seeing videos and commentary and reviews of this shoe weeks ago now. This is an example of a sneaker that's coverage killed the excitement for me. Now, the Reimagined Breds aren't the only Jordan 4 that were killed off by the internet. I think the white Oreos very much became a TikTok Jordan when they came out. Same thing with the UNC Blues. These are two sneakers that became synonymous with the cargo pants, the Carhartt hoodie, and the broccoli haircut. And as nice as both shoes are and as clean as both colorways are, I just can't bring myself to snag a pair because of how indelibly linked they are to that particular phase that played out primarily on TikTok. The Jordan 4 that was most ruined by TikTok, and I'm sure we'll all agree on this one at the very least, are these, the Black Cat 4s. When these came out back in 07, I think it was, nobody gave a crap about these. When these dropped back in 2020, I think it was, no one really gave a crap about these. In fact, depending on which area you come from, you may well have seen these sitting sometime after their release. But then once TikTok and IG Explore got a hold of these sneakers and started hyping them up and people started jumping on the bandwagon with these, the demand went crazy and these went from being a sitting shoe to a $1,000 plus reselling shoe. And people like me still to this very day are still wondering why. It's just an all black Jordan 4. New Balance 550s. The internet was quick to move on the 550s. These were all the rage for about 5 minutes and then they became as crap as they were before they were hype. I do think it's important to mention that the New Balance 550 can be credited, or at least partially credited, with bringing about the emergence of popularity with New Balance. I think specifically the Aimé Leon Dore 550 collab alongside the Protection Pack New Balance 2002R were two sneakers that arrived on the scene and started to change people's perception of New Balance. And 550s were definitely the thing on TikTok for a minute. But once New Balance started to cream out the colorways and oversaturate the market, they became pretty dead pretty quick, but they are definitely worth a mention. Foam runners and Yeezy slides. During the pandemic, this became the footwear of choice. Working from home, lounging about the house, Eric Emanuel shorts, Nike socks. Yeezy foam runners and Yeezy slides were the absolute hot ticket item, and they deserve credit in the sense that they helped usher in this new era of EVA foam shoes, as well as this approach to comfortability, an idea in footwear that is still very, very popular to this day. White Air Force Ones and black Air Force Ones. I'm not saying they're bad shoes, these are both all-time classics. But the popularity of both these shoes can definitely be tethered to TikTok. Fashion pages, influencers, sneakerheads, promoting and rocking the Air Force Ones got them to a point where even just the generic plain Jane all-white colorway were unavailable for a period of time. And it's the same thing for the all-black Air Force Ones. I think people got a little bit carried away with the whole meme around being a menace, being some kind of villainous character, up to no good shenanigans in the black Air Force Ones. Adidas Sambas. I think it's pretty safe to say that the Samba has been completely played out now. The shoe has enjoyed a couple of really strong years for sales. It's almost been the saving grace, or one of the saving graces for Adidas in a post-Ye era. And I think its success can definitely be attributed to the emergence of this really popular fashion trend called blokecore. Football-styled sneakers alongside some jorts, alongside a football jersey has been basically the summer fit of choice for the last 2 years or so. And whilst both colorways, the black colorway and the white and black colorway, are always going to be classic, they've definitely become overplayed and have become essentially the new version of the next sneaker we are going to talk about, the Nike Dunk. The Nike Dunk, at least from my perspective, was never really a popular shoe. Much like SBs, you could pick older models up for really cheap money up until the pandemic. But then we got into this whole vintage, throwback, 80s basketball trend era where the nostalgia was heavy, and Nike capitalized by bringing us probably the most over-rinsed sneaker of the past 10 years, the Panda Dunk. Now the Panda Dunk is interesting because it's become so popular. It's seen in all places, at all times, in all countries. I'm sure if you leave your house right now and go to the mall and walk around for a little bit, you will undoubtedly see a handful of people wearing them. It's actually become a trend to hate on how popular this shoe has become. And so hating on the Panda Dunks has become a trend, even more heavily participated in nowadays it seems than wearing the Pandas themselves. And what do we have to thank for all of this? TikTok. Air Jordan 1s. You knew it, I knew it, we had to talk about Jordan 1s. So many colorways of the Air Jordan 1 got ruined by TikTok. Let me just give you a couple. First of all, the Uni Blues and the Hyper Royals. If you were watching a TikTok video of some young guys dancing in the streets back in 2021, chances are one of them had on a pair of these Uni Blue Jordan 1s. The resale was going crazy, everybody wanted a pair of these, and if you didn't have these, you had to have these other ones, these Hyper Royals. Now these are both really nice colorways, but because these represent what I want to call the quintessential pandemic sneakerhead, generation of sneakerheads that really just got into sneakers through watching dance videos on TikTok, I just could never bring myself to cop a pair. Now it wasn't just these. I think another one of the Jordan 1 highs that got completely ruined by TikTok were these, the Mocha Jordan 1s. Another special mention has to go to the Obsidian 1. This is another one of those Jordans that just got completely done out on TikTok. And finally, the Lost and Founds. A little bit like the Bread Reimagines, there was so much hype and so much chatter and so much build up, so much debate about this shoe that by the time they came out, I was already over them. I also feel like the hype around the Chicago one really got blown out of proportion because of The Last Dance on Netflix, as well as the 80s nostalgia. I feel like the Jordan 1 Chicago got a little bit overhyped, and that spilled out onto the Lost and Found release. And even though I do have a pair of Lost and Founds, and I was thankful to get my pair for retail, it's not a pair that I really cherish or even wear that much in my collection as it is today. Now there are some other special mentions as well. Some of Rick Owens' sneakers have been played out massively online. You could even point to the Timberland trend that's ongoing at the moment as being in the midst of saturation. Even Uggs and Crocs are starting to go through a bit of a rinse cycle. And I'm sure it won't be long before we are talking about the ruination of the metallic runner trend. But that is my list for today. Let me know what you guys thought down below, and if I've missed any sneakers out, feel free to tap them out down below. I would be interested to read your comments. Thank you guys, as always, for taking the time to watch the video. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit the like button before you bounce, and I will see you on the next video. Take care for now, and peace.